What is up, everybody? Rev Avi checking in live for our Magic Quarantine Talk. What is going on out there? I'm gonna give people a chance to get on and log on to this thing. Let me get my comments going, and we're gonna get started. Okay, today we're gonna be talking about sacrifices. Okay, and this is a subject that I feel like we definitely need to discuss in this group. Okay, we're going to talk about sacrifices. What are they? Okay, and what are good sacrifices? Okay, so we're going to touch on that tonight. And people are starting to show up. What's up, Steven? Yeah, first to comment, bro. Hey, tag some people. Okay, don't tag Kumba. Okay, but tag some other people. And I am going to have a smoke while we, like I said, just take a few minutes and give people a chance to get on. Hopefully, this will be a good talk tonight, and we can get some people in and have a good open discussion. I know a lot of people were interested in this topic, specifically bloodletting, and we're going to discuss that tonight too. Okay. I know Dennis was talking about he was interested in this. Sarah, some other people in the group. Okay. So with that said, yeah, we took a couple minutes, so let's go ahead and get started. Okay. Let me grab my notes because I wrote a lot of shit down for this in anticipation of this talk. Okay. So, what are good sacrifices? First of all, what are sacrifices? Okay. Sacrifices are an expression of dedication or seriousness um, to a spirit or an idea. Okay. Or an idea. And there's a reason I'm using that word idea. Okay. So, with that said, let's talk about some of the traditional things that people will set up on their altars, or depending on your pantheon at a crossroads, if it's voodoo or something like that, as an offering to the spirits. Okay. One of the first thing we're going to talk about is traditional ways. So one of the things that you can leave as an offering is food. Okay. Any type of food. Usually try to get something that is in the frequency of the spirit that you're working with, something you think they would like. Okay. The second thing is drink. Okay. Alcoholic and non-alcoholic. Okay. You could go by the color of the drink or whatever you feel would be appeasable to said spirit. The other thing you can offer is money. And a lot of people don't even think about this one. But you could sacrifice money. Okay. Not just in the sense of like literally burning it. Okay. Or something like that, which is illegal in some places or in most places, if I'm not mistaken. But you could do something like taking money and burying it, okay, or putting it away and refusing to spend it. That's also a form of sacrifice, okay. Um, so you could also leave herbs or incense out, okay, burn certain incense or use herbs as an offering, okay. You could make some kind of statue or doll or representation of the spirit, okay, as an offering, okay. The other thing you could do is literally an entire altar setup dedicated to the spirit specifically. Okay, so you could have the entire altar be a specific color for them, and their planetary frequency, a certain incense, all of that stuff, an image of them, their sigil, everything decked out specifically for that spirit. Okay, that's another form of sacrifice. Okay, because you're sacrificing your personal space. Okay. Um, the other thing that you can do is sacrifice things like well, they are sacrifices, are things like stones, making stones with the sigil on there, or creating jewelry, um, or something like that. would also be considered a form of sacrifice. That falls under that money thing where you have to spend money and invest to create those things, or you have to use your time and effort to create those types of things. So that's still a form of sacrifice. Okay. Um, the last thing, well, not the last thing, but the next thing that I want to talk about is art. Okay, that's another form of sacrifice. So when you're working with spirits, okay, they really like when you dedicate stuff to them, including yourself. Okay, you can dedicate yourself to a spirit, and that's where that's the last topic we're gonna touch on. But art is a way to offer sacrifice to a spirits and to different spirits and stuff like that. They really do like that type of thing. Creating books dedicated to them, music, paintings, even whole performances or decked out, elaborate, like theatrical sort of settings with mass um, and that sort of thing is considered a grand form of sacrifice and dedication. Okay, so we're talking an elaborate ritual. It's a theatrical presentation. You got to understand this. Ritual is a theatrical presentation. It is fantasy. You guys have to understand that. you know um, it's fantasy leading up to the manifestation. Okay, so with that said, art is a fantastic way to show dedication to spirits. Okay, painting, music, whatever. Um, the next thing we're going to talk about is that touchy topic, and I wish some more people were here before I even get to this. So maybe I'm talking too fast. But the last topic, and this is well, the next topic, and this is a touchy one, is blood. Okay, the last thing we're going to talk about is the best sacrifice you can make. Okay, but the next one we're talking about is blood, and this is a touchy one. A lot of people are, doing rituals and stuff like that at home, and they're cutting themselves and making blood sacrifices on sigils and stuff like that to try to conjure demons and to get the spirit to show up and stuff like that. Okay, and I'm going to tell you why that's absolutely the wrong thing to be doing. Okay, first let's start from a logical thinking standpoint. How you doing, Erica? So, thinking logically, okay, the occult is a science. Okay, thinking logically, um, cutting yourself is dangerous. That's the first thing. Um, any type of open wound can be dangerous. You can get infected, okay, etc., etc. Now, if you're working with multiple people doing these types of rituals, it's obvious that, STDs and stuff like that, um, and any type of transmittable disease, all this stuff is out there. So it's super duper dangerous. Okay. Not to mention, also, this is from a scientific standpoint. When your blood leaves your body, you're draining yourself. Okay. Now let's talk esoterically again. Spirits, specifically demons, feed off life force. If you're cutting yourself, you're draining your life force. So that's the opposite thing that you need to be doing. Okay, it's the opposite of the thing that you need to be doing. Okay, so with that said, I'm gonna open up just for some questions here. I don't know who's been here for how long, but does that make sense to everybody? What I just said so far before I go any further. Okay, I'm seeing some hearts fly up. So hit the thumbs up, if that makes sense to you guys. Perfect. Okay. Um, moving forward, there is a right and a wrong way to do things, people. Okay. If you do need to use blood, and it should only be used, okay, it should only be used for something that is a lifelong dedication. Okay, so that means, like, for instance, when you're just getting on the path of magic, and let's say you found your patron deity, okay, and you want to prove to them that your mind, body, and spirit and everything is dedicated to their frequency, then perhaps you could make a blood sacrifice, okay, blood dedication. And when you do this, this shouldn't be, I'm going to get in the dark with a razor blade and some alcohol and heat it up and cut myself. That's absolutely stupid. And I'm going to tell you why that's stupid, because I've done it before. Okay. You can see the cuts on my arm. Those scars are very, very real, people. Okay. I've cut myself, and I've done it before. I've been in the hospital. Okay, stab wounds, etc. Cuts are very real. And it did nothing for my ritual work. Okay, um, but it did make me have to you get stitches and stuff, and you see some of them didn't even heal because I was so hard headed. I pulled the stitches out. Okay, so it's very, very dangerous, and there's a right and a wrong way to do everything. So with that said, I'm going to teach you the right way that you should be. Okay, if you needed to, which you shouldn't need to. Okay, I've been practicing for over 20 years, and I'm telling you, this is not something you need to do because there is a best sacrifice you can make, and we're going to talk about that also. Should you need to, you need to use a diabetic tool. Absolutely right, Stephen. These come with sterile needles. It's just one little prick. It's going to get you that one drop of blood that you need. Okay, but you shouldn't need to use blood for anything, guys. You shouldn't be out there cutting yourself. Okay. Um, but one drop of blood will do it. That's more than enough. Okay, blood is very important. So if you do need to use blood, you only need a single drop. The other thing is you shouldn't be out there fucking killing anything or hurting animals or anything like that. And I mean, this is, I hope that this is an intelligent, group of people that we have here. At least that's what my hope is for this group, is that everyone here is at least to the level of intelligence to know that much. Okay. So with that said, don't be a dick. All right. Now let's talk about the best sacrifice that you can absolutely make to spirits. Okay. And that, my friends, is absolutely sex. Okay. Sex. It's sex. That is the highest and most sacred form of alchemy. Okay. That there is. Sex creates life. Nothing else creates life. And life is the most magical thing that you can experience. Something created from liquid turns into a living, breathing individual. Okay. That's the highest form of alchemy. All right. Not only that, sex keeps you healthy. It's great exercise, relieves stress, and it activates the Kundalini. Okay. Some people don't know that. And good sex, okay, vigorous, really good, meaningful sex will activate your Kundalini. You will have a afterbuzz that will make you want to get up and run, and like you'll feel like $1,000,000. That's when you have activated that Kundalini. And that was the last little thing I wanted to talk about. Before I do that, are there any questions about anything that I've talked about? I hope that that's really clear. Some people may not agree, and if you are one of those psychotic types, just go ahead and leave the group. I don't really care. We don't need that kind of energy in here. Okay? So, I'm not seeing any questions. So let's keep it moving. All right, what does it feel like when you activate that Kundalini? Let's talk about that. Okay, like I said, it's like a super duper energetic. You can want to get up and move around. It makes you feel like the best you've ever felt in your life. Okay, when you activate your Kundalini and it really rises, and that life force, the serpents activate. Okay, and the black flame ignites. I'm telling you guys, it is a full on body buzz. Like you feel like nothing could hurt you. Okay, you really could convince yourself that if you ran in front of the semi truck that you could stop it with one hand. I mean, this is what it feels like. I mean, you can still keep your sense of reality and know that those things are possible, but it sure as shit makes you feel that way. Has anybody else ever experienced actually activating their Kundalini? Okay, it's something that you can feel. It's not just some type of, what's going on, Omar? It's not just some type of hocus pocus belief. And Erica, I know this is your first time here, so I talked about the chakras and all of that stuff, and getting in tune with nature is really what magic is about. We're drawing on those universal energies to cause an alchemical change within our mind. So it starts out psychological, then it becomes physiological. Okay, and then you can affect your external reality. All right. Man, deep breathing's good for deep breathing. All right, because sometimes if the sex is good enough, you shouldn't be doing enough breathing. All right. But yeah, with that said, guys, yeah, when you activate that Kundalini, it really feels like an electric buzzing energy. You feel like if you touch something, you'd be shocking it. If you ever touch one of those And I mean a really powerful one of those electric balls, like the lightning balls. Okay, if you find a really fucking big one and you put both hands on it, it makes your hair stand up. Okay, and this is usually with people that are, white people with lazier hair that lays down. I've never seen an afro stand up like that, but I mean, it makes your fucking hair stand up, even on the back of your arms and stuff like that. You know, when you put a fucking hands on that thing, makes your your hair stand up, and you get this tingling. That's what Kundalini feels like. Okay, that's the best way I can describe it. And Kumba, since I got you here, what you felt when we did the hypnosis session, when I had you hold your hands out and you were like, holy shit, feels like an angel is, touching. I can't explain this. That was the Kundalini starting to activate. Okay. So it really does feel like a crazy ass electric buzz. I can't explain that enough, guys. Like, you look in the group at the announcements, I've got hypnosis sessions and stuff like that I'm offering to people. I've studied hypnosis for more than 10 years, so I'm actually certified to do this stuff for people, and I know a lot about it. But through hypnosis, you learn how to affect the subconscious mind, and that's what's important. When you can affect the subconscious mind, you can tell it what you want to accomplish. Okay, and then have those type of religious experiences with seeing spirits and stuff like that that people talk about. Okay, so a lot of people that come on the left hand path turn atheists because they're like, this is pentagrams and shit. This it's all nice imagery, but that whole magic thing is some bullshit. I like the idea of demons, and being in the dark, but the magic is bullshit, and it's really not. Okay, you have to understand the scientific principles that is behind this stuff. Okay. So I hope that these lives are really helping people out there. And I had someone today, and I'm not even going to drop their name because they're not worthy of my fucking energy. But I had somebody today say that I was like some kind of pimp hustling the divine. Like, dude, are you fucking kidding me? First of all, I mean, the idea behind all of this stuff is that someone wrote a book and somebody read it, and now we're sort of using those lessons to see if they work. This should be a study to begin with. So we should come into this with the skeptical mindset. And I just talked about that in the last live. This should be something where you're testing and pushing it and pushing these principles and putting them to the test to see if they work. You shouldn't be on this path blindly following along just because you know the names of demons and what their sigils are. Okay? Yeah, Erica says she's felt her Kundalini rise and open chakras. Each one vibrated. That was amazing. Yeah, it really is amazing. Okay, and if you haven't seen my book, it's in the group. The first part of my book is all about the 9 bodies. Okay, that create the human being. Now, this is something that was explained by the Egyptians. There's 9 bodies, 9 levels that create the entire physical being. My first part of my book covers that in its entirety. You learn about the entire makeup of the human body, where all the connections of the nadis and stuff like that are for the chakras, and then I cover how to open each chakra specifically, what its frequency is, its vibration, exactly how to open it, okay, before you ever get into any type of magical understanding and spell work. And a lot of people skip over that stuff, but it's so important because that's the first step, okay? You have to allow yourself to experience these things, and nothing beats casting spells on yourself. And I keep talking about this. So when you do that chakra work, that's you casting the magic on yourself. You're saying, I want to open my chakras. I want to feel this energy. Let's activate this fucking magic, okay? And then that's the first steps. You get the feeling, that buzzing feeling coming over you, okay? Then you proceed, when you have that powerful feeling, then you proceed to try to do conjurations and spell work, etc., etc. Okay, and people skip over that, but that is very important. Okay, so I hope I touched on some interesting topics tonight. I'm gonna open up for a few more questions because I don't want to jump off too fast. I think I've been on for like 20 minutes or so. Yeah, I don't think I missed anything. Steven says, I remember sex 5 years ago. We're not going to talk about that, Steven. Okay? Get busy. Or get busy dying. So, yeah, I hope that helps you guys out. Anybody have any questions about anything? Like I said, I've been practicing for like over 20 years. So, I have a fountain. I am a fountain of knowledge. Okay. If not, I am going to, maybe I'll do a little explanation on the process of 369. Okay. So with that said, let's see if we get something to represent each thing. Let me answer your questions first. Does your book talk about how to cast such spells on yourself? Yes. It goes over in depth how to cast certain spells on yourself and stuff like that. Okay. So I'm going to use these 3 coins to represent 3, which is going to be this ancient Chinese coin. Okay, this is a real genuine ancient Chinese coin. And then this is going to be our 3. The Queen Elizabeth from England will be our 6, representing 3 with thought, 6 with vibration, and 9 will be the Morgan, 1800s United States, will represent our manifestation. Okay? So, if we start to look at these things and we have a thought, okay? When we take the thought and we add vibration and manifestation, that's the original plan. But what happens if you don't have manifestation? Okay? What if we took that away? What would we be left with? Okay? Of course, we'd be left with thought and vibration. But how do we get manifestation to come into play? Okay? How do we get manifestation to really come to life? Okay? When we remove thought and vibration. Well, the truth is we never really remove thought and vibration. Okay? And we always have manifestation. Now, this might be a little hard to see, but I want you guys to really pay attention here. What happens when you get thought, vibration, and manifestation together? Okay? When we get them together and we remove manifestation and we hold it in the palm of our hand, okay? It's almost like we have the power to manifest the things that we desire. It's almost like if you believe for just a second that you could grab it in the palm of your hand and just bring it out into view, that manifestation, and you just held on to the thought and the feeling of making something happen, that you could take it and with just a little imagination cause things to change. Okay? So I hope that inspires some people to get busy working on yourself, okay, and your own thoughts. You know, if you can just grasp the concept of 3, 6, and 9, having a thought, adding that emotion, it really can become reality. Okay? So with that said, any questions about anything? Okay? And yeah, Erica, it does cover how to open those chakras specifically. There's a whole chapter on casting spells on the self, which is something that you can directly apply to your chakra work. Okay. So I hope that answers everyone's questions. And with that said, guys, much love, and I will see you in the next one.